Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Seize Your Business. I'm Jim Wozak and my co-host Kevin O'Flaherty.
Hello.
And today our topic is Facebook ads, and our guest is Jason Baltimore, who is a guru of that. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you guys.
Well, tell us a little bit about your company first, and what you guys do and all that.
Okay, absolutely. So my company's name is King's Ransom Marketing. A lot of people laugh when they hear the name, but essentially we talked for 20 minutes and that was the best we'd come up with. So everything else was taken. But we started out a couple years ago, a friend of mine and myself, and we basically were looking at the digital marketing aspect of marketing, I guess. Print media seems to be dead, or at least heading that way. Everything has its purpose, but there's way more people online than there is looking at newspapers nowadays. Unfortunately, you can read all that stuff right online. So we just figured it was the best way to kind of get our footprint in the door and make our mark. We did it with AdWords. We've done a little bit of SEO management, which all is important and all has its place. But at the end of the day, we saw the biggest return of investment in Facebook ads.
Okay. Super.
Yeah, that's where, I think advertising is. If I had, $100 that I wanted to spend on paid advertising, Facebook ads is exactly where I'd put them. And I've done a lot of looking into this.
Well, wait a minute. You mean you wouldn't just give it to me as like a gesture of friendship? Give me the $100.
Give my business card to some people around town. Well, that's probably a good
He's
investment.
networking all the time anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that I was excited to hear that's what you do, because that's a really good topic. So why don't you kind of dive in and tell us how Facebook ads work, why they're kind of dominant, and why the trend seems to be towards them as opposed to Google AdWords.
Absolutely. If you don't mind me painting a picture here for you.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
a lot of times when I talk to clients, we talk about, by the way, my niche is typically chiropractors and dentists. We're looking to branch out now. But when I talk to chiropractors, for instance, I use the billboard pitch, okay? Sure, you can spend $5,000 on a billboard and you're going to hit 1.5 million people driving past it on 55 every day, right? But out of each one of those cars, how many people are actually going to be looking for a chiropractor? How many people are just here for a sporting event? How many people are just traveling back and forth from work and don't even live in that town, right? So you're not necessarily hitting your target audience. With Facebook ads, you can, on the back end, essentially target your ideal audience straight from age to income level to their interest to what they like. The things that Facebook knows on the back end of us is scary, but it's the way that it goes, and it's why you really should be spending your marketing dollars in Facebook ads, because you're not wasting your money showing it to a bunch of people that aren't interested in what you're offering.
So on a Facebook ad, you have the advantage of really specifically targeting people. How do they charge? Is the broader targets cost more money, or how does that whole end?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So the more that you...
That's why I'm a...
Well, that's why you're here, right?
Show. Yeah, exactly.
The less narrow or the more broad that your audience is, the more it's going to cost you.
Really?
Yeah, because they're showing it in repetition, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the more people see something, the more comfortable they become with you, the more apt they are to buy from you. So that's why we try and hone in on a certain niche or a certain group, and then you keep promoting to those people. Kind of like a split test almost.
Yeah. Well, I love niches because, when I talk to people about networking, who's your client? Well, anybody who needs this. Well,
right.
That could
Jim's
be,
been telling me I need to specialize for years.
I don't know who that is. Actually, since Kevin brings that up, that's an interesting story. I met a lady who was an attorney and just going off on her own. And I says, well, what do you do? And she said, well, we do small businesses and we do estates, and it was like just about everything. And I said, why don't you just focus on one piece of it? So she decided she would focus in on real estate tax abatement.
Okay.
I didn't see her for a few years, and I called her up because I saw her website. I said, well, maybe she could look at my taxes on my house. And I said, hey, this is Jim, do you remember me? She said, oh, of course you remember. You're the guy who told me to focus on this niche, and you created this whole business for me. So niches are indeed very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, are the Facebook ads, are they just little boxes that we see, or can there be more to it? Can you put links in there? How does that work?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So we do a couple different ones, but you can do anything from how you see them on the side of the page. Which you'll ever notice if you're looking up, I'm a golfer, if you look up a golf course or golf clubs, next thing you know, all the ads on the side of the page are to buy Callaway or Titleist or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you can do that. What we do is it actually comes through your feed as if you were a friend of mine, okay, posting something up. So it comes up and there's videos, and then, there's links where I can send them directly to an e-commerce page, or I can send them to my chiropractor's office. I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the things that we recommend to do, we create landing pages, which is basically a simplified version of your web page or the offer that you're offering. Mm-hmm. Because when you bring somebody directly to your web page, there's so much other stuff on there than what they're actually looking to get, the offer that you were enticing them with, that they get lost and then they never sign up.
Yeah.
So we create a separate landing page. Usually just plain, simple, right to the point of what they were looking to sign up for, collect their information, and then bam, it's right in their email.
So would it seem to me that it would be actually an efficient way to reach multiple markets? Because let's go back to Kevin's example. So he could potentially do one ad targeting business owners of, taco stands or something, and he could do another ad targeting seniors who maybe are ready to retire. So that it sounds like you could actually experiment with different niches and see where you get the biggest return.
Absolutely. I mean, depending on what you're marketing, we always break down. For instance, like I said, I'll just go back to the chiropractic because that's what we work with. We break it down: males 30 through 40, males 40 through 50, males 50 through 60 who have interest or looked up lower back problems, for instance. Mm-hmm. And then we do the same thing for females, and then you test it, right? And then we see where we're seeing the biggest return, then we're able to turn off those certain niches and just focus on those people that we know are looking at it and clicking through it.
Yeah.
So you can actually target it based on what they're searching on, Google, or how does that?
You can hear it from me. Yes, you can. It's unbelievable. I have a whole video on our webpage. It's kind of like the Matrix. Some people made things like, you mean Facebook can tell that? Yeah, unfortunately they can. I can even do it by income level, even though you don't technically put your income in there. But with the algorithms that they've created, Facebook actually, I think they just signed up with the second biggest marketing company in the world of data collection. Mm-hmm. So they're basically utilizing Facebook to collect all this data from you.
So let's talk about the differences between Google AdWords and Facebook a little bit. I'll let you kind of lead the conversation, but it seems like Google AdWords are more clearly the bloom is off the rose. Everyone knows it's an ad. Mm-hmm. And people usually don't click on the top 3 necessarily.
Right, because they're all ads.
So Facebook is a little bit more, as part of your normal browsing experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be more tailored toward things that you typically like. Whereas Google AdWords, you have to physically be looking for that individual thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you actually have to type in the search term and then it appears. You're competing for the actual term. Facebook, they're looking at your kind of background, your search background, and then you'll get it whether or not you're typing in the search term.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's almost like, which is intriguing to me for cancer insurance that we talked about, but it's almost like Google AdWords will work if your market really knows what they're looking for, whereas Facebook ads may work even if they don't know what they're looking for, because it's a way to expose them to something that they maybe didn't know existed or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I said at the beginning, Google AdWords definitely has its niche and its place that it belongs. It's important if people are looking for that. But I take it as, you started with print media, and then you went to radio media, and then TV marketing, okay, and then Google AdWords was the thing to be doing because everybody was Googling to find the best doctor or the best dentist. Well, now Facebook is the next level of that, because now you're hitting exact targets.
So I got to tell you a story which has a question in it. So earlier this year, I took my friend's 12-year-old daughter to Great America, and just out of curiosity and doing a little sort of semi-market research, I asked her, I said, do you spend a lot of time on Facebook? She says, no, that's for old people. We're on Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah.
So, Facebook now seems to be almost serving like a certain demographic, and do those others play into the equation at all?
Yeah, it's almost like I trained you to segue me into that. No, actually, it's absolutely perfect, and there's a couple different ways to market, but we definitely suggest when we create a Facebook ad, it is linked to your Instagram account, so it also is going out on Instagram.
Okay.
Snapchat is great as well. Definitely people are all over Snapchat. It's a little bit shorter of a market, just for the time frame that your videos are. You can do unlimited and stuff like that. But it's definitely, if you're not marketing on Instagram and Snapchat, you're going to be behind the 8 ball again.
From what I'm not an expert in this industry, but from what I hear the talking heads on CNBC say, is that anything Snapchat can come up with, any new features they have, Facebook immediately parrots, and they've got the market share to dominate. So Snapchat stock is in a downward spiral.
Yeah,
Facebook is going up because Facebook is basically stealing all of the best ideas from Snapchat and Instagram because it's not,
When they can afford to.
Yeah, and then they can make it, make them better. So I when you're talking about Facebook's for old people, I'm not. This is not what I do for a living, but I wouldn't, based on what I hear, I don't think Facebook is going away like MySpace did. I think it's...
Yes, and that's the thing about Facebook, is why Facebook is continuing to dominate, because it's not doing what MySpace did, where MySpace was like, this is what we are, this is what we're going to be, and this is it. And everybody was like, cool. Facebook just continues to grow, which makes it difficult on my end as a Facebook marketer or Facebook ads, because I have to continually learn new things, which is great. It keeps a job for me. But
so speaking of which, what's the value add for someone to hire you to kind of run their Facebook ad campaign, as opposed to just kind of hopping on Facebook and doing it themselves?
It varies based on market. Obviously, as I said, we started in a niche because we wanted to make sure that we were producing and perfecting it to get you the best results. Worst thing that I told my business partner we could do, which he luckily agreed, was to branch out into 15 different niches and only be good at one, and then create a bad name in the other 10,
Sure.
right? So now that we've perfected these 2 or these 3, we're branching out. Restaurants can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a month for us to do that. If you're just doing it on your own, which we do workshops where we teach people how to do this. Again, it's not easy to do. It's time consuming. So at the end, if they decide they want us to do it, we can do it. But they also pay for your ad spend. So we usually recommend anywhere from $200 to $500 a month. Again, the first couple of weeks are a little bit more expensive because you're splitting your markets and you're testing a bunch of different ones before you really nail it in. So yeah, for instance, chiropractors, we charge $1,500 a month, and we recommend a $500 ad spend.
Okay.
Now,
so you must be adding a lot of value if they're paying more for you than the ad spend. Can you elaborate? You said it's hard to do. What makes it hard? Where do you kind of come in and?
Well, it's just learning.
It's
just learning the back end, and it's bringing in. Okay, I like to use Groupon as an example. A lot of people go on Groupon. It's a great way to try out new things, right? But how many people just go on Groupon to buy a Groupon to get a cheap deal? A lot of people, right?
Sure, of course.
So when they come into a chiropractor's office, and there's a ton of them on Groupon, they're getting an adjustment for $20, right? But how often are they coming back? Not very often. So it's like the value scale marketing, right? Sure, McDonald's can charge you, I think they say it costs McDonald's $1.09 to get one person through the door. And then they make like 18 cents when they sell them a cheeseburger. But then when you add the fries and you add the Coke, right? Now you're upselling your client. So chiropractors, dentists, why we started there, doesn't take many people to turn into return customers for them to see triple, quadruple their investment.
To a certain extent, if the value of a client is $500 a month or $1,000 a month, you might have a different program than if the value is $20 a month, like if it's an oil change place or something.
Correct. In the same way, like obviously restaurants, everybody goes out to eat. Okay, so I'm hitting a much larger market than I am if I'm targeting people that are just looking for chiropractors or just looking for dentists.
How tightly can you target geographically?
Down to the zip code, down to 5 mile radius of the business. Okay. Yeah, you can do 2 mile radius. Really, it's up to you.
So would you suggest that if like a lot of our audience is fairly early stage companies and entrepreneurs, maybe don't have a lot of money, would you do, let's say you've got a basic website, would you then do YouTube, Google ads, Facebook ads, something else? What would be like sort of the next thing to do on a limited budget?
Yes, yes, and yes. I tell everybody all the time, and we practice it in my office. I'm going to take a selfie video when I leave here saying that I just left here. You know what I mean? It's just constant content. You need to always be updating yourself. Be on Facebook, be on YouTube, be on Instagram. So people get connected with you, right? People buy products, but people buy people more than anything. And especially in the chiropractic world and dentists, again, I apologize, I keep going back to that, but that's where I come from. So with them, people get a little, I don't know, what do you want to say, hesitant to talk to them, right? Because they're talking in words that they don't know. So we always tell them, just talk to us like you're regular people. You know, once I see that you're a regular person just like me, I'm way more willing to do business with you.
That's what my whole business model is based on.
So would you even recommend that for guys that look like me or Kevin?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. You have a niche too.
Incredibly handsome people.
Incredibly handsome.
Yeah, well-spoken, entertaining. Sure, why not?
Yes.
Yeah, so Jason, thanks so much. If people want to reach you, how can they reach you?
They can reach me. We have a website. It's kingsransommarketing.com. Jason at kingsransommarketing.com is my email address. My phone number is 331-250-0749. Facebook. King's Ransom on Facebook. Anywhere, I'm always out there, so you'll see me. Hopefully, if you're watching this, I'm probably targeting you.
Okay. Jim, how can people reach you?
Best is just to give me a call, 630-272-3895. If you're in the Chicago area, next Thursday, I'm doing a workshop, Improv Skills for the Business Professional. Call me if you'd like more information. Kevin, how do people reach you?
We got for free consultations in almost every area of law. 630-324-6666 is the number, or if you just kind of Google lawyer in any town we're in, you can usually find us. We have offices in Downers Grove, Naperville, Elmhurst, Tinley Park, and Lake in the Hills, and we're working on one in St. Charles. So please give us a call. Thanks.
Thank you.
One more thing, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm gonna be, as I said, we're gonna be doing some workshops for people. Anybody that is interested in taking a look at a little bit deeper dive into exactly how it is we do what we do. We're basically going to be teaching you exactly how to do your own Facebook ads. Again, probably killing our business a little bit, but it's also getting it out there because I think it's important for everybody. So take a look at us on Facebook, and we'll be keeping you posted on those dates.
Super. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.